Hey everyone, this training was a live recorded Zoom call. If you have any questions about this training or want to know more, please email us at production@eaglebrookchurch.com.
The first thing to know is that not all of your sites have Ultrix routers, which I hope you know if you don't have one or if you do. Some of you have Imagine routers, some of you have Ultrix routers. It's about half and half right now. So they all work the same way in principle, but not physically. So everything has a destination and a source, all the routers do. And when you are routing, whether it's on a soft panel in dashboard or if it's like a physical panel somewhere in the building, you always go destination first. You select your destination. Sometimes you have to hit take at that point, and then you select your source, and then you hit take, and then your route's done. So let's move on to dashboard. This is a basic dashboard window. It comes with nothing loaded because it doesn't know what devices you want. So as you can see, I'm in a Mac, which means all of you can have dashboard on your personal, your work personal computers. If you would like it, you just go to rossvideo.com and then you download dashboard. So once you're in dashboard, you might think, oh, how do I add a device? Well, let me show you how. There's this little green plus button right here. So you click that and then it gives you all these options, and it's a little overwhelming, but all that you have to do is click this TCP IP dashboard connect, click next, and then you type in your IP address. So for today's demonstration, we will be using the Blaine Ultrix, which I just happen to know the IP address for. Then all you have to do is hit detect frame information, and it's going to automatically figure out that this is Blaine's video router that we're trying to join, and then we click finish. So now it's added it to my device list, but it doesn't quite know what it is yet. Right now it just thinks it's an open gear frame. So in a moment, a little arrow will appear right there, and now it knows it's an Ultrix, and it will give me all of the functions that I need. The way that I just added this device is in a basic tree view. That's what this is called. There are a couple other ways that you can organize your devices if you have a lot of them. The first thing that you can do is an advanced tree view. So if you click on views and then advanced tree view, you can create a new one, and we'll just create a brand new one right here. I'm going to move it over into this section. So this is my advanced tree view. Right now it's showing me all connections and then a custom folder. So if I rename this folder, I can say Blaine. So those are my Blaine devices. So I can just take this router, drop it in there, and I don't want to add a new prefix to this because it's already named. So now if I had tons of devices and I wanted to say these are my open gear frames, then I would put them in a folder like this, and then I could close it up and it wouldn't be too much. That's if you want to do that. You don't have to. We have that set up in the TOC because we have all of your devices in our dashboards, and it's easy for us to get to them quickly if they're in folders like that. But for campuses, if you just have like 3 open gear frames and a router and a switcher, you might not need the folder system. The other view here is a layouts view, which you can create layouts that will let you pull up certain windows. It's kind of like a custom control. So right now, I believe only our single screen sites use the layout view, and we have that set up for like their clip servers or their cameras or a certain switcher panel to come up, so they don't have to go digging through the list. But I'll show you how to create one. The way to do it, well, right now this is technically a layout. So if I wanted to save this layout, I could, but it's not very helpful because there's nothing open. So just quickly, I'll open up a window, and I'm going to save this as a layout. Now you can do it in the layout menu by clicking Save Layout, or you can click this little camera icon right here, and that's going to save the layout, and we'll give it a name, and we'll call it Joe Passage. So there's my layout, and it's just this window. But now I think I want another layout that is the configuration and this window, and I want them to be like split. So this is a new layout that I want, and I'm going to save that. We'll call that Boom. Okay, so maybe I don't want this layout anymore and I want to go back to this one, so I just have to double click it and it's going to recall it for me. And that's the layout view. In every Ultrix router, there's two main sub menus. The first one is Ultrascape, and the second one is the Ultrix itself. So the first Ultrascape one, that is the multi-views that Ultrix, the router, can generate for you. So any site that has an Ultrix has at least one multi-view coming out of it. Blaine has two, and I'll show you about it, but we'll go through each of these tabs. You don't have to do things in every tab, but I just want you to see it so you know where things are at. So the first one is configuration, which all this does is it tells us how we're configuring each of the pips. It gives us some border stuff, it gives us tally settings, and some label settings. Pretty simple. You won't ever have to touch any of that. The next thing is the layout editor. This might be useful for some of you. So right now it's just a blank layout, but what I want to do is look at the layout that is currently on some of the multi-views, and I want to edit it a little bit. So I'll go File, Load from UltraCore, and then it will show me the three layouts that we have available right now on Blaine's router. So the first one is this Blaine CPM, so I'll click OK. And now it's going to show me how this is laid out. You can see that I can click on this and I can move it around if I want to. I don't want to, so I'm not going to save that, but that's how you do that. This is where we can put the tally boxes on, we can put the label on, and we can put a clock on. And that's essentially all you're doing in the layout editor. The next piece in this layout editor window, the whole tab, is the clocks. And this is where you can edit the clock. So for daylight savings, when we skip ahead or we fall back, this is where you're doing that editing. So sometimes it won't do it for you, so you just click in here and you change it. You type -6 if it's the fall, or -5 if it's the spring, and then you click apply, and then you're done. But I don't want to change it. Okay, that is editing the layout, but that's not all for the multi-views. There's another layer to the multi-views, and that's in head selection. So we'll close out of that. We'll open up head selection. Now this is where we're doing two things. First of all, this is where we're selecting which multi-view layout is on which output. So Blaine has two outputs. They're called head 1, or slot 1 head 1 and slot 2 head 1. And they have two different layouts selected. So the first output, they're using this Blaine CPM V1 layout. And the second one, they're using the second version. So this is where we're choosing that. And then down here is where we're choosing what sources are in each pip. So in layout editor, we're choosing where the pips go, but in head selection is where we're choosing the sources that are in each pip. So right now, pip 1 is here, 2 is here, 3, all the way through. So what I can do here is I can choose any source that's available in my router, and I can also choose any destination follow that's available in the router. So right now, pip 1 is taking ME2's preview, but maybe I want it to follow, like, I don't know, my LED wall. So I'm gonna scroll down here and look for my LED wall. There it is. So I want this one to follow LED 1. So now, if we were to publish that change, instead of being a direct source, it's gonna follow that destination. But it can be anything you want, and this is how you do it. So if you ever need to change any of the sources on your multi-views, you are free to do so as long as you talk with one of us first, Ben or myself or Matt. Just give us a heads up that you would like to do this, and if you forget how, we'll help you, but you're free to do so as long as we know about it. Yep, that is how to do that. And then the last piece in the Ultrascape is the clock control, which we don't use. There are ways to create extra clocks to do like countdowns, and not for like displaying to an audience, but for in dashboard, but we don't use that, so you don't have to worry about that. So we open this up and there's another drop down of a whole bunch of stuff. The first thing that we'll go into is the system status, which when it loads here, it'll just give us basic card state and connection, which they're both good to go. If they're not, they will be red, and you'll hear about it. In this panel, there's only one thing that I want everyone to know about and to do. The rest of it you will never have to touch because it's all configuration stuff that our team will take care of for you. But the one thing that you do need to know about is in this database tab. If you ever make any changes to the database, whether that's a destination, a source, or a salvo, and it's not updating as fast as you need it to, or it's not getting pushed to your router control panels or RCPs, this is how you do it. You come in to the system status and then the database tab. And then you go down to this line right here that says database to RCPs, and you just click send. And it's going to send the most up-to-date information to all of the RCPs and overwrite everything that was previously there. And that's it. And it's really fast. The other thing, if you ever need to reboot or refresh your router, you do it in this system status as well. It's this reboot button right here, refresh. So we've got 3 additional drop downs here. The first one is the database, and there's a lot of stuff here, but there's only a few things that we're going to talk about. 3 of the menus here. So the first one is levels, and this is important so that you understand how the Ultrix is routing. So the Ultrix routers have 17 levels. One of the levels is the video level, which is where all your video signal comes on. And then there are 16 audio channels. So they're all assigned a color, and the first one is labeled video, so it's really clear. And then A1 through 16, and those are your audio channels. You don't have to edit anything in here, but this is just what I wanted to show you of how the routing works. Okay, that's levels. Then destinations. We'll open this up, and this is where all of the destinations are configured. So if you ever need to know what a destination is called and you can't find it in your RCP, or you just want to look, you totally can. This is where all of your destinations are loaded. So they're ID'd, numbered 1 through however many we have. They have a name. This name just populates over onto the left side here. And then it shows you the actual SDI channels and the audio channels and what slots are going out, which doesn't really matter, but it does to me. So that's where they're all located. And then it's got all of the destinations. 133, lots of destinations there. Yep, that's destinations. Can't think of anything more to tell you there. Then we've got sources, and it looks the exact same, except instead of a source, instead of a destination, it's a source. So you've got your name here that's populating from here. You've got your numerical ID, and then we've got a description. The other destinations do have descriptions as well, but this is for if you need to know like which DA this room cam is on, it'll tell you right there, or yeah, whatever else is important. This converter, I don't know. Just some fun stuff to look at if you ever want to know more. And there's all your sources, 73 sources, not bad. So now that you know about levels, destinations, and sources, the last piece in the database that you want to know about, I hope, is salvos. Everybody loves a salvo, but not everybody fully understands, perhaps, how salvos work, what they do, why they do what they do. So we're going to talk about that now. So this is how the Ultrix works with salvos. You've got a list of created salvos over here. You can add salvos by going down to this edit button and clicking add, and it will ask you to name a salvo, which we're not going to add one because of a reason that I'll tell you in a little bit. But this is what the salvos are. So Blaine currently has 16 salvos that are in use. One of the most important is the setup salvo. So if we click into that, this is the grid of how the routing is happening. So in the setup salvo, the destination AV1 is receiving the source clip A. Now it's got all these colors and pinwheels, and those correlate with this level selection over here. So there's all 17 of our levels, and you can see as I scroll down that the color pinwheel will change and show you that all of these levels are being routed, except for the red one, because AV1 is not available for video routing. There is no video destination channel part of that destination, so it can't route the video, so it won't do it. Now if you want to change what this salvo is doing, like maybe I want AV1 to get clip B instead of clip A, all I have to do is just click there, and now it's done. Now it didn't apply yet because I haven't hit apply, but it will do it. You'll see that it is highlighting that red, but it can't. So I'll click apply, and I'll say okay. If we click out of here, oh, what the heck? Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's Maybelline. Okay, so we'll click back on A because we don't want to ruin them when they come back. Great. So that's what's happening in the salvo. I don't know that I need to explain any more about that. I think that makes sense. Yeah, okay, let me look at my, hold on, creating salvo. Well, we could create a salvo, but it's the same as updating one. Let me tell you though, if you don't want, so let's just say for this demonstration that we want camera 4 to be routed to this ASL monitor, but we only want the video level routed there. The way to do that is just clicking this video button, and it's going to unselect all of these audio channels. So now I can just do it, and then it will be part of the salvo if I apply it. Now if I click that and I don't want that to happen, I just click on it again and it goes away. To get all those channels highlighted again, you click the follow button, and now it's going to route all of them at once. Something important about salvos is kind of what I was talking about a little bit ago. If a layer is, or if a destination is only audio, I guess the Ultrix will like let me, but it's unnecessary. And if, I don't know if any of you have ever noticed this, but on your RCPs, if you hit a salvo and it doesn't do anything, like it visually does things, but on the RCP it doesn't do anything, and then after a little bit it'll say no response, that's because there's unnecessary routing happening. So that would be something like an AV channel that's an audio only destination receiving a video level that the Ultrix thinks, why did you make me do that? I can't do that, and I don't wanna, so why did you make me do that? It'll say no response. If there's a salvo that doesn't have any of those unnecessary levels in there, once you hit it and you hit take, it'll just switch to OK, and then it'll be done. So if you're creating salvos or editing them, the key here is be sure that you're only routing what you need to route and not just like frivolously routing video to audio or audio to video sources that don't need it. Okay, let's talk deleting salvos. So if you look over here in the salvo list, you'll see that they are not alphabetical and also not numerical. So we're good from 0 all the way up to 5, 6, 7, and then we go to 9. That's because between 7 and 9, 8 got deleted. So it goes 7, 9, 11, 8, 12, 13, 14, 10, 15, 16. So there was something weird in there where salvos got deleted, and the Ultrix, for some reason, isn't smart enough to figure that out. And because these salvos are referenced in other places in the building, in the system, deleting salvos is somewhat dangerous because it will mess up a control down the line that we might not know about, or that you might not know about that it's impacting. So it's best, if you're creating salvos, you just leave them in there indefinitely. Hopefully you're not getting up to like 9,000 salvos. I don't know why you would, but if you have a salvo that, say, you want to repurpose, like FPU, we're not going to do FPU in person for a while, so maybe we want to just repurpose that to be something else and call it events or something like that, even though there's an events one right there. I don't know. Maybe we call it Quest or something like that. Just don't delete them. There are pieces like QSys that reference it, so you're building your lobby controls could be referencing that, or your event system in an auditorium. If there's like a touch screen or an iPad that you press start event system or whatever it says, it's referencing a salvo. So if you delete a salvo, it could mess up the order and then things don't work. Yep. Okay. The last thing in salvos that I want you to know about is the disconnect source. So when you hit your rest salvo, there are some things that get routed black just so that it saves their screen because they're not going to power off. Like our LED walls, they always get the black source routed there. But there are some displays that get a disconnect source routed there because they are able to sense when there's no source and then power themselves off. And then when there is a source present, they're able to power themselves on, kind of like your control room monitors and your prompters. And the way we accomplish that is through a disconnect source. So if I scroll down here, you'll see this is the disconnect source right here. So in the rest salvo, the dual monitor in the CG position, that's the ones that sit in front of you, the two right next to each other, those get the disconnect source so that they're not always outputting signal, but they will shut off and go into hibernation mode or whatever they do. The same for the AD and all these dual A's or dual A and B's. Oh, y'all got a lot of, yep. So your floor prompters will disconnect. And then we've got all your control room displays. So that's how we're accomplishing that. If you are creating a new salvo that is similar to the rest salvo, but you don't want it to shut everything off, that's what you're going to use on certain monitors that can get shut off. You'll just use the disconnect source. All of your sites are equipped with router control panels, like hardware RCPs that are installed depending on where you're at. So Blaine has 2 in the control room and 1 in engineering. SOP has 1 in the control room. Mobile sites, I believe, have at least 1 in their rack. Maybe not more than that, but 1 in the video rack. But there are some times when an RCP isn't available, or it's like too far away and you don't want to walk there to route one thing. So the way to get around that is by using a soft panel. And what you do is open up this soft panels page. So Blaine has a couple soft panels, but the one that I want everyone to use, and then I'll show you how to use, is the master. So we just open that up and it looks just like the salvos page. The difference here is that this is showing you the currently routed sources and destinations. And it will update as you change routing. If you're changing salvos, this page will update, or if you're doing it from another soft panel or an RCP, this will update as well. But you can do all of your routing right here, including recalling salvos. But let's just do a test route for now. So let's use this ASL monitor again. I want to route camera 4 there, but I just want the video. So I'm going to click on video, and then I'm going to find ASL and camera 4, and then I'm going to click it. Hello, there we go. So now it's ready. When it's outlined, that's saying I'm ready to route. The take button will illuminate, and then it's up to you from that point. The solid colors are where it's currently routed. So I'm ready to route it, and I'll take it. There we go. It's routed. Now, if I want that to go away, I can't just click on it and click take. I have to route something else. So the little difference here between the salvos page and the master soft panel is the disconnect source is right here at the front. We moved it so that it's easier for you to get to, but we can't move it in the salvo one because of the way the database works. At least not yet. So I actually just want to disconnect that, so I'm going to do that. Boom, disconnected. Now let's say I want to route, I know that the lobby can take audio and video, so I want to route clip A there because I want to play my favorite Patti LuPone Christmas clip. So I'm going to click that, and it's now got all my levels. If we scroll down, you'll see the colors change. So you can see that all my levels will be routed, and I'm ready to go, so I will click take. And then I can play Patti LuPone till my heart is content. Now, something a little tricky here is perhaps the next time I route something, I want a different audio source to go than the video source. So right now I want the lobby to get clip B so I can just play that loop. So I'll click that and I'll take it. Now you'll notice that all the audio levels are still on clip A. So even though they can see clip B, they're hearing clip A if it's playing something. So what I want to do to change that is I actually want the lobby to get the 70 volt audio source. So I'm going to scroll all the way over to 70 volt. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to take it. And as you notice, it didn't take the video level, even though it was selected, because this doesn't have video on it. So it took all the audio there on 70 volt, and then if we scroll back over here, clip B, still routed there visually. So that's how to do like your own routing from the soft panel. Now, if I'm at front of house or in the lobby and I have my laptop or anywhere in the building and I want to recall a salvo really quick because something's going on, all I have to do is click this salvos button, and then I click recall, and then it brings up all my salvos that I'm able to execute. So maybe I want to just rest everything because I forgot, but I have my laptop in the lounge, and here I go. So take. Now it has been tooken. Okay, that's taking salvos. Now, some of you with the Imagine routers are perhaps used to the locking feature where you route something to a destination and you want it to stay there. You don't want anyone to mess it up. I really just want this destination to be locked on the disconnect. I don't want anyone to do it. Well, you can. You can click this and then you can click lock. It's going to turn this little red button locked, just so you know. Now, if it's locked on an Ultrix, your salvos are going to freak out because it doesn't know what to do. If that, it doesn't get in. Like the Imagine routers, they can route around it and they're okay. They'll be fine. The Ultrix says, no, I want it all. So don't lock things. If you're like working on a project or we're out coloring a wall or something's going on where we're not in a service, and we know that we've all said we're locking this destination so we can work on it, perfect, let's do it. But if you're like on a weekend or a student's night or an event and you're just like, well, I'm afraid someone's going to route it, don't lock it. Just tell everybody, don't route anything. Don't route this over that. So you can unlock it like that, or you can be selected on it here, and then you can click free. You can't click lock over and over to turn it off. It's lock or free. Now the Ultrix also has a protect feature, which I'll be honest, I don't fully understand the difference between lock and protect, and I would like to say that I don't think Ross Video understands the difference between lock and protect. But the same principle is to get it off, is to click free. And just unselect that. The Master Soft panel will always have every destination and every source available in your router. There is a soft panel for Blame that we've created called Message. And what this is just message critical sources and destinations. Now, this would be okay to use like once you get into your message and this is all that you're going to need to route really quick. Sure, but if there's something missing from here, like a source that you're like, oh, I really would like this source, you're going to have to go to your master panel anyways. So this is just a faster way, albeit you have to scroll, but it's a faster way to get to everything you need and see the full picture of what your router is doing, except it's not updating right now. The full picture of what it's doing instead of a smaller picture.
Thanks for joining us for this training. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, email us at production@eaglebrookchurch.com.